Hello ladies and gentlemen, coming at you with a new video and with a couple of new things. You may have noticed already in the last video, if you are you have a keen eye for such details, that the video quality has been a little bit better. So we have got a new webcam so you can have a look at a very detailed face. I don't think it's actually a good idea as I'm growing older, but whatever. I also have a second screen, so now I can do things far better and far more smoothly. And last but not least, oh no, that's it. So, not long ago I've made a video about double pawns, which I conveniently forgot to put in a position that is right now in front of you now. I do think that I may have made a video about this particular position a while ago, so I might be doubling up here, but I'm willing to take that risk and redo the video because I think that this fits so beautifully well into what I wanted to say in the last video about double pawns. So let's jump right into it. This fabulous game, by the way, is coming from a book written by Jonathan Russin from the 7 Deadly Chess Sins, which reminds me that I wanted to make a video about books. I'm still working on that, so that is coming soon. Russin, I rate him as a fabulous author. Really cool dude, writes really well, but the value of the book for chess growth, in my opinion, is rather limited. It's a fabulously entertaining, awesomely written, very witty, clever book, but I think it's more of an entertainment. That's basically what I'm trying to say, and I keep on repeating it. Russin himself is, I think, a philosopher, or has got a degree in that area. And the book has got that quirky angle of lengthy discussions and thought processes about things in a probably less practical environment than I would think is best. But once again, each to their own, and I highly recommend them for their entertainment value anyway. So this position is from his book, and he's talking about how the heck did White manage to come up with what he actually ended up doing in the game. And so I would invite you to tell me what you think he would do here for White. And at first it looks obvious that we need to play on the king side. There is a beautiful double rooks on the f, so let's put pressure here. The pawn chain is pointing towards the king side, so happy days, let's do something there. But the more you look at it, the more you realize that Black's position is extremely compact. The bishop is absolutely terrible, but as good old Bogdan Lalic said once, bad bishops defend good pawns. And that's a very true statement, so it's very tough for White to break through. And so here, by the way, cheers, you absolute legend. So here, White, Rosenthal is Eduardas, an extremely talented grandmaster, has devised a plan that absolutely threw me. And when I saw it first, I went like, this guy is an absolute genius. He played a4. Actually, I have to refer to the book here. He played a4, which is already a weird move because it's totally on the wrong side of the board and it puts the pawn on the wrong color. So it seems to be wrong in every positional aspect. Alright, opponent plays queen d7. Rosenthal drops the queen back to d1. I suppose the confusion keeps on growing now because it was a beautifully placed queen on h1. And now it comes home to d1. What are we doing? This is not looking like good chess. Black, somewhat confused, plays rook c8. White goes a5. Okay, Black is still going like, okay, dude, I have no idea what your agenda is here. So he just goes like, all right, I will swing back with the rook, perhaps offering even a draw or wink draw offer, and show me what you've got. And then Rosenthal swings the queen to a1. Now it's very clear that he wants to come up to a3, and all of a sudden that queen that looked so menacing on h5 in fact seems to fulfill far more duties on this diagonal, and seems to be putting on quite a bit of pressure on the black king side by attacking f8, as well as on the queen side by jumping onto c5. So black goes like, okay, well, that's not a biggie. I'm just going to chuck the queen back to e7. Good luck, Chuck. What can you do to me now? And then Rosenthalis goes like, well, that doesn't stop me from going to a3. And when I saw this first, I'm like, what? Like this, queen a3 is not really a shock. But this whole plan from here, and I'm very, very big, as you know, guys, I really am big on chess principles. I really like to emphasize that. So there is a reason why I have made a whole entire series on Chessable about chess principles. I really like to follow principles, and here white is breaking a fair few. But there is always exceptions to the rules. And what makes a really good player is to know when the exceptions are present and how to then approach those positions. And boy, look at this stuff. Queen d1, a5, rook back, queen a1, and queen a3. And so black now decided to take this, quite understandably, thus creating double pawns. And lo and behold, white is a lot better. In fact, white has never stood as well as now since starting position, now that we have got the double pawns. Because what this also means is now we have finally a meaningful target, or much more importantly, I should rather say, we have two targets instead of just the one that we had here. And now black is struggling. The game continued as follows. Rook d8, rook b2, piling up on the b7 pawn, of course. Rook c7, rook b5 coming in, rook d7, and king f2. He has the time of his life now with regrouping the pieces and putting them on best squares. So jolly time, thank you very much, says Rosenthalis. g6, king e3, king g7, rook fb1, doubling up, king f7, and now is the time when we have hit the second plateau, when again, for the second time within 11 moves, our pieces have reached maximum potential. Now, I usually like to tell my students, when your pieces reach maximum potential, there should be tactics. Now, here in this endgame, you still look for tactical solutions, but if you can't find any, that means that the position needs some kind of change, because in the trend that we have been following, we have reached what we could. And so now we need to find a new way to approach the position again. Usually it's opening it up. For example, something like g4 and then penetrate again from a different angle. That doesn't work, but the policy remains the same. Open up the position. So he plays rook c5, 500 exclamation marks. A breathtaking concept squared now, because once rook takes pawn, pawn takes back, we have got 4 isolated pawns, 2 pairs of double pawns, and yet this trade enhances white's position crazy. How much? Because now the king can come to d4, thus attacking d5, so all of a sudden I have gained a piece. Because here my king, although looks active, but does absolute nothing. And now, ho baby, that king is gonna be a total boss. So, he didn't take it. He went king e7, but now Rosenthalis went, yeah, nah, you will have to take me. Because now d5 is over-attacked, so the trade is a must. And of course he takes with the pawn. That was the plan all along. There is no reason to change it and take with the rook. That would be a tremendous mistake here, because that means that my king still cannot come in. So pawn takes, thank you very much. 4 pawns isolated, 2 sets of double pawns, and black's position is becoming worse and worse and worse. A breathtaking masterpiece by Rosenthalis. So take takes d5, king d8, and tada, a6. That's an awesome way to use the double pawns. You crack the file open, they take it, and now your singular pawn holds the double pawn on that end. We have made this a passer, and this has got now plenty of depth to go and penetrate on the 8th rank. Actually, once again, they didn't take. They played king c8, which has allowed Rosenthalis to pull the trigger on an absolutely masterful finish. Actually, puzzle for you, in case you want to train yourself whilst the video is on. White to move and win. A beautiful combination based on a magnificent tactic. So I'll count to 3 and I will show you the move. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Rook b6. So it turns out that we don't need the whole b file to successfully penetrate the position. The rook is immune to the capture because the pawn walks in. And so poor Apple, A-P-P-E-L, I just can't pronounce it, had to drop back to g8, and the rook swung in now to f6, threatening to come here. Rook d8, king d4, casually just ignoring the fact that this is on, and after takes, rook d6, black threw in the towel because now the pawns are going to drop, and the black pieces are ridiculously passive, and the white pieces have grown in power in the last 15 moves at an insane rate. So once again, who would have thought that from this starting position we could pull off fireworks of this kind by actually embracing and actively taking on board the concept of having double pawns. Now, once again, I'm not trying to sell you this as an advantageous concept to have double pawns. Far from it. What I'm telling you, again, just like in the previous video, is that we need to apply principles to on a case-to-case basis. And more often than not, they will be applicable. Right now, they aren't, because here the double pawns actually benefit white a lot, because it means that I can attack on the open b file. Once the pieces reach maximum potential, he goes like, right, I need another set of double pawns. Well, he doesn't. What he needs is a d4 square for his king. It's a coincidence that that can only be achieved by yet another set of double pawns. And the finish in the end with rook b6 is just truly tremendous. And then after the bishop draws back to g8, just penetration to death. Awesome. Absolute beautiful chess. So yeah, I wish I had remembered to chuck it in the end of the previous double pawns video, but I think that this game actually deserves to be a video on its own right because it's so great. So if you want to look it up, it's Rosenthalis Apple, A-P-P-E-L, 1993/4 Bundesliga. An amazing game, and I'm really glad that I remember to add it to my YouTube channel, because this is something that I really like and enjoy. This game is just so beautiful in terms of positional chess. Alrighty guys, that's gonna be it. Be sure to tune back later because I'll be back with more soon. Thank you. Bye.